Welcome back to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. We continue our conversation now with Monmouth County Sheriff Shaun Golden. Let's talk about opioids. There was a statistics that came out just a few months ago that showed around the country the success in fighting opioids. And New Jersey spiked up. It was one of the few states that didn't have a decline in overdoses from opioids. Yeah. Monmouth County was an exception in that.
Well, listen, it's been a challenging time for law enforcement, and when you look at some of the successes and still some of the challenges in the opioid crisis, I mean, we had the dubious distinction, Ocean County and Monmouth County being number 1 and 2 respectively in the state of New Jersey a couple of years ago in terms of
Which is one of the worst states in the country.
Yeah, well, listen, we're uniquely positioned in terms of our access to the market, right? And when you look at the market, if you have New York City and Philadelphia, and you look in between, here we are in the center of the state. And so, you know, our area is ripe for that that inbound contraband to hit our streets. We're certainly aware of that in law enforcement. So it was a multi-pronged approach, Larry. When I tell you the Prosecutor Chris Comiccioni, Prosecutor Coronado, as we know down in Ocean County, Sheriff Mastrianardi, myself, the Chiefs of Police Association, initiative after initiative, you know, starting with Narcan, right? And so I can't tell you, last year I think we were north of 840 Narcan deployments in Monmouth and Ocean County in terms of lives saved and deploying Narcan. We had 163 overdoses last year. Over 130 of those were directly attributable to opioid and those deaths attributable to opioid and fentanyl usage. You know, and fentanyl is the synthetic now. It's cheaper. It's more potent, and it's certainly something that is hitting our streets, and we continue to attack that. The dip or leveling off, we can only hope, but that's not a plan for us. You know, hope isn't a plan. We'll continue on our aggressive education. The prosecutor has been out, Comiccioni and Coronado have been out to just about every PTA, PTO group that will listen. I have Reach for Your Dreams program in the Sheriff's Office. We were in the high schools. We did a high school ambassador program. We had all the leaders of the school districts come in and discuss and really give us ideas. And then they said, hey, you know, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, get down there and talk to them. Right. And that's where we're at. We're in all the intermediate schools now doing drug education and awareness. You know, the prescription drug drop-off programs that we do, as you know, 70% of the opioid use comes from prescription drug abuse or substance abuse
or at least
beforehand.
Starts with that.
Yeah, it starts with that. And so, you know, tackling that at home, you know, my family included, we continually stay on top of the messaging at home. Where are your prescription meds? If you don't use them anymore, get rid of them. I mean, in the Sheriff's Office, we work with Doug Collier, who's with the DEA, New Jersey Drug Enforcement Agency. We're the first to put mobile drop boxes for the DEA out. We had the stationary drop box in the station, and now most police departments have some apparatus to help collect those unwanted prescription meds, and we took ours mobile. We said, hey, we go and do a lot of senior center programs. We do a lot of fairs and township education programs. We take the drop box with us.
Let me talk about one program in particular, because it was, you mentioned Coronado, and Prosecutor Coronado was on the show, and we had him on the show because as the rest of the state seemed to have an increase, Ocean County had a precipitous decrease. And I asked him, of all the things, and I know there's more than one solution, but of all the things he did, what did you think? What do you think helped the most? And he said, we have a program where if you want help, come to the police. Now, most people won't do that.
Blue Heart program.
Come to the police, that's it.
Blue
and
Heart
he says, we will get you help with no arrest.
Joe has done a tremendous job with, you know, short-term recovery, like John Brogan of Lifeline, bringing those types of agencies in, saying, if you have a problem, come on in, and we'll get you the help. And we're doing that here in Monmouth County as well.
Does it work? It works?
It works. It works. And we're doing some diversion program as well through the prosecutor's office and the jail, because it's not just, you know, you've heard this phrase before, you can't lock your way out of this problem. You know, we can't lock up people out of the problem. So through the diversionary program, the prosecutor, Comiccioni, and Prosecutor Coronado, working with the sheriffs and the jails, have said, okay, listen, they need treatment. Let's suspend their sentencing on a particular crime or criminal charge and get them to agree to a treatment program, long-term treatment program, sometimes out of state, of which we have sponsored, and we send them to Florida or Texas to long-term programs. been a tremendous success, over 70% success rate in those individuals.
That's wonderful. Let me talk about the
who've
second
gone
problem
diversion.
with that, because we only have about a minute left. So you're offering treatment to all these people, which is wonderful, and it seems to be working. And yet it seems like we don't have enough beds, we don't have enough resources, we don't have enough places for these people to go.
Agreed, and sometimes not enough insurance, right? Because this is a long-term treatment modality, right? And when you talk to the experts, 9, 12 months, not just 60 days, right? Not just 30 days. And so beds are a key factor. I mean, we're working in some partnerships. We've been and again, that speaks to the out of state. We have some arrangements where we can send people out of state. It costs money, but we have some sponsors that allow us to do that. And so those types of programs have been successful. The other thing that's been successful, Larry, and that, again, Coronado and Prosecutor Grimaccione are leading the way in changes. We have, during that interdiction process of the Narcan deployment at home or in somebody's business or school, we have to be able to bring that person to the hospital. Right now, from an EMS perspective, and again, I was a medic and I know this, when you deploy Narcan, somebody becomes awake and oriented ×3 and they're alert, they'll sign off on a refusal. That ought not to be the case.
Right, and then they get Narcan next week and the following week.
And then they're repeat customers. And so we need to work with state legislatures, and we are, with an introduction of legislation saying, no, that's treated like a psychological illness profile. Law enforcement goes to a house when somebody is threatening suicide, they take them with them to the hospital for evaluation. And the same ought to be true for the Narcan deployment.
Wonderful, thank you. We'll talk more about it. I really appreciate your time. You got to get to your news conference now.
Beautiful day here.
Monmouth County Sheriff Shaun Golden. Jersey Matters continues right after this.